Good evening. Thanks for watching this video. Tonight we're going to be doing a recap slash movie review of the movie I went and watched tonight, which is called Our Brand is Crisis, starring Sandra Bullock. I'm also hoping to get some editing things in here tonight, so hopefully it works, but it did star Sandra Bullock. Did you like that? I was able to get her picture put in there. It also has Billy Bob Thornton in there. And it is a movie about a lady who is named Jane, who is played by Sandra Bullock, who used to run a lot of political people's campaign for them. She's the strategy person. She would help them win elections. And it starts off with a group of people trying to get her to come help them win this election. And the election is actually for a gentleman down in Bolivia. He is running for president, and he has actually been president down there 2 other times before, and the people in Bolivia are really wanting a change. And this gentleman is actually losing by 22 points when Sandra Bullock gets down there. And so Sandra Bullock's goal is to turn the whole campaign around. And so her character comes down, she sees what's going on, she finds different ways to get the presidential race to kind of go to their end and to their side. And so the movie starts off where it's all about how can we win this presidential race. And then also you get to see the different things that are happening or from the past that are happening in Sandra Bullock now, where Billy Bob Thornton's character comes in, and his character's name is Pat. And so Pat is actually a gentleman that Sandra Bullock's character has went up against many times. The movie actually says that they've had 3 to 4 political races against each other, and Pat has won at all of them. And so now that Sandra Bullock's character, now that Jane knows that Pat's in and is on the opposition's team, she starts to make this more emotional and tries to make this more personal than about the actual politics. The whole goal turns into, how can I beat Pat? And so you get that dynamic going on because they have a history. And so you're learning about their history. You're learning about why they're there at that point in their lives, why she is not a fan of Pat's, why Pat really likes her. And so you get that really dynamic going through the movie, which is really nice. And about midway through, you start seeing that there's a lot of subtle stories going on in this movie. And that was probably my favorite part about the movie. Now, of course, Sandra Bullock and Billy Bob Thornton are both hilarious. I am actually a huge Billy Bob Thornton fan. Perfect for this role. I thought that they did a great job with him. Sandra Bullock did awesome in hers as well. It was funny. It was serious. So there was a lot going on. But about that midpoint of the movie, you start to see that the whole movie really isn't about a presidential election. It's about hope for a country that needs it. And you find out that some people may not be on the side that they actually think they're on. And you see that Sandra Bullock's team turns the idea of, we don't need to make this president nice. We don't need to make him approachable. We need to make this country believe that's in a state of crisis. Hence where you get the title from, Our Brand is Crisis. And so the whole movie, or the whole time that they're trying to win the election, they're pushing how this is a crisis, and come to find out the crisis is much bigger than what any of them actually realized. And so you get that really strong dynamic of, what did we just do? And so there's actually another character in the movie. There's a lot of different characters, but the one that I really felt resembled the Hope is played by Ronaldo, is his first name, and I apologize, I can't pronounce his last name. His character's name is Eddie. And Eddie is a younger kid. He's probably, I would guess, 18, 19. You find out that his parents had passed away about a year ago. But he's on this campaign helping because he believes in this presidential candidate. And he's really the guy that sees hope for Bolivia. And you see him believing in these things. And I don't want to ruin too much, and I don't want to say too much, but there's a lot of dynamics in there, and I don't want to get too much into it. I would say you need to watch it to understand how Eddie is really the hope for the people of Bolivia and how he resembles hope. So let's talk about their designs. You know, that is one of the big things. Sandra Bullock's character, well-dressed, well-groomed, except for the first scene. When she gets down into Bolivia, she can't deal with the altitude real well. Her hair's a mess. She looks like she just rolled out of bed. But it played where she was in that part. Billy Bob Thornton's character, from the beginning, was always dressed real nice. Blue suits. In fact, I don't think he ever wore anything but a blue shirt. It was different shades of blues, and then he would mix up different blazers to go on top of his blue shirts. So you would see them as professional people. And you see these Americans who are dressed all professional in Bolivia, where people are not so used to seeing that. It is a culture shock, and you can see the difference in those culture. And so the costumes were designed well, from the people who were the upper echelons all the way down to the poorer class. And so they did a great job with the costumes. The only glitches I can remember was when the president had his sleeves rolled up. In one shot, his sleeves were past his elbows, and the next, it was right around his forearm. Other than that, I didn't see too many things where one thing was going on in one scene and then it flipped back. So I want to give an overall grade of this movie. I would give this movie a 8.0, so an 8 out of 10. And the reason why is because I like the subtle stories. In fact, Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb gave it a really bad score. It's only averaging about a 5.5. I thought it was much better than that. I thought the dynamics between the characters went really well, and I also thought that the hidden storylines is what really mattered. I mean, the movie is based around a presidential election. So if you're looking for the drama of the presidential election, that's where you're going to get disappointed. But if you're a person who likes those subtle stories, the parts that we hear and we see, but we don't really take a real good listen for. And so if you hear those things and you start to listen, you understand what is going on in the actual story. And so I really like that part. I thought Eddie's character was played great. I thought he actually was, towards the end, was actually the star of the movie. But they did great with the dynamics. They had 3 great actors. They actually had a lot more actors in there. Anthony Mack was in a supporting role. So you have some big names, actors and actresses playing these roles. Overall, I thought it was a good movie. I would give it an 8. So that's my movie review on Our Brain is Crisis. Get out to the movies this week. It's projected to be a low week in October. They're only projected to make about $79 million overall through the movies. And in fact, Our Brain is Crisis only projected to make between 5 and 7. Did have a budget of $28 million. I'm a movie person, so I always say get out and check out the movies that are out. Everyone, I'm going to have a video up tomorrow, so keep watching. Have a great evening, and thank you.